Sister Wiggy the one you got the questions for.
How come you ain't never liked me?
Like you? Who the hell said I got to like you? What law is there say I got to like you? Want to stand up in front of my face and ask a damn fool-ass question like that? Talking about liking somebody. Come here, boy, when I talk to you. Straighten up, goddammit. I asked you a question. What law is there say I got to like you?
None.
All right, then. Don't you eat every day? Answer me when I talk to you. Don't you eat every day?
Yeah.
Nigga, as long as you in my house, you put a sir on the end of it when you talk to me.
Yes, sir.
You eat every day.
Yes, sir.
Got a roof over your head.
Yes, sir.
Got clothes on your back.
Yes, sir.
Why you think that is?
Because of you?
Hell, I know it's because of me, but why do you think that is?
Because you like me?
Like you. I go out of here every morning. I bust my butt putting up with them crackers every day because I like you. You're about the biggest fool I ever saw. It's my job. It's my responsibility. A man is supposed to take care of his family. You live in my house, fill your belly with my food, put your behind on my bed because you're my son. Not because I like you, because it's my duty to take care of you. I owe a responsibility to you. Now, let's get this straight right here and now before I go along any further. I ain't got to like you. Mr. Rand don't give me my money come payday because he like me. He give it to me because he owe me. Now, I don't give you everything I got to give you. I give you your life. Me and your mama worked that out between us, and liking your black ass wasn't part of the bargain. Now, don't you go through life worrying about whether somebody like you or not. You best be making sure they're doing right by you. You understand what I'm saying?
Yes, sir.
Then get the hell out of my face and get on.
So yeah, that was this video going around on TikTok, and a lot of people were basically asking, is this good parenting or bad parenting? But yeah, like we applaud, you applaud the parent for doing, for doing what they're supposed to do as far as taking care of the child. That's his job, that's his duty, as he said. But we have to have an ear to hear what the son is asking the father. It's not so much about liking as hee ha ha, willy-nilly friend type of relationship type thing. He's asking his father, why don't you approve of me? That's a big difference. And a lot of times it can fly, things can fly over our head if we're not really tapped into what's being said or to a question that's being asked. That's why we should listen. We should listen before we speak. We should listen more, listen twice before we speak. He's asking the father, why don't you approve of me? He might say, why you never liked me? But he's really asking, why don't you approve of me? It's vital to any child and their parent. Because if I'm not getting your approval, I'm going to get it somewhere else. Whether that be for a lot of young men who didn't have their father in their lives, it turns into them going into a gang. You know what I'm saying? It turns into, and a lot of times is that if they didn't have some type of father figure in their life to basically show them just that they're proud of them, and not proud for anything that you've done per se, but just proud of them for the simple fact that I'm your son. This is so underneath it all, this is what he's asking the father. And if we don't have an ear to hear that, shoot, we can make the same mistakes. We can make the same mistakes with our kids, with just believing that simply because I provide for you, that should be enough. that should be showing enough. Like, nah, that's not enough. I'm sad to say. Like, yeah, it is my duty. It is my duty to take care of you. And if I'm doing that, like, that's cool. That's cool. That's fine. Like, you know, I shouldn't be getting condemned or chastised about it. But if your child has to ask you, because underneath it all, let's ask the real question. If your child has to ask you, why don't you approve of me? He's missing something. There's something that's being missed in this relationship. And he just like, well, I gotta go and get it. I gotta go and get it from somewhere else. This is the automatic response. Like, this ain't no optional thing. We as human beings always search for validation, and we always searching for approval. Sad to say, if we're not getting it from our parents in the proper way, then we're going to get it from someone else in the improper way. Same thing could be said with a boy, a young child, and their mother and his mom. His mother can be controlling. You know, his mother can be controlling and not allow him to be a real man and not allow him to make decisions for himself. And he always feels, you know, jerked around or manipulated in certain situations and cases. He doesn't feel that approval. He doesn't recognize him as a man. He's gonna go out and get it from a woman. A woman who's going to make him feel like a man. You get what I'm saying? Like, this stuff run deep. Like, this stuff run deep. Like, people want to be proud for who they are, and not in a prideful type or boastful or arrogant type of way. But people want to be accepted for who they are, and especially by their parents. And how you relate to your parents a lot of times is how you will relate to the Heavenly Father, the Creator. How you relate to the world. This is what builds your perspective, your worldview. This is how you operate in the world with the world that you grew up in as a child. And so that's very important in how we grow and how individuals are grown, you know, and how individuals are grown to a lot of times be successful in society. This is the same way with the Father in us. There was nothing that he can do. There was nothing that we can do to earn his love. But he sent his son who died on the cross for us. And he said that if we believe, if we believe in him, that he died on the cross for our sins, then that's the acceptance and that's the approval. And he's letting us know there's nothing that you can do to earn. He's saying, I love you enough to show you that you don't have to work for my love. You don't have to, because we can't, for one, but he's just saying you don't have to work for it. You don't have to work for my love. And this is the same way with this is how it should be for any child, any parent and their child. That and babies in the same way that we can't do anything to earn God's love. A baby naturally born can't do anything to earn out. They literally sit there and cry and poop all day. They just cry, poop, and sleep. That's literally all they can do. Their performance is straight trash. They can't feed themselves. They can't get up. They can't go to the bathroom. They can't do none of these things. And we literally have to be mindful and watchful of them 24/7 until they're able to walk and move around and things like that. But we don't love them for what they can do for us. We simply love them because they're our child. And this is what the son is asking. This is what the son is asking the father. Why don't you approve of me? Why don't you love me why don't you love me because I'm your child? And if you actually watch the whole movie, the son, it was that whole vibe. It's always been that whole vibe. It's always felt like that there were things that he had to do in order to measure up to the liking of his father. But his father never gave him that acceptance that he needed as a father and son, and especially as a son to a father. Like, that's important. And I'm not downplaying the female and the father, because that's important even in his own sense too. I'm speaking from that other man who has a father and then who has 6 boys. Like, that's important, because as men we lead. Like, we're natural go-getters. We lead. We've been created to lead families. And so it's just like, if I can't get that from my father who teaches me, who I watch as an example on how to lead, then shoot, I'm gonna go out here and get it from somebody else. And that's how a lot of this end up turning into stuff things that it doesn't need to be. Gangs, homosexuality. Yeah, we don't talk about it. You know what I'm saying? Like, abuse. A lot of this because we start trying to find validation and approval in other people or in other things that we were never meant to get our validation from. So man, that's just some food. That's just some food for thought. Is that good parenting? Is that good parenting or bad parenting? If a child should have to ask that, I say this: if a child should have to ask that, and you don't, and you can't really, and you're not really hearing what he asking, like, that's definitely bad parents. That's definitely, and I'm pretty sure the father, and just like any one of us parents, we have our shortcomings and things like that. But it comes to a point in life that you gotta suck it up. You gotta suck it up, and you gotta be what that person needs you to be. And that young man wanted a father, like somebody who loved him just simply for who he was, And so yeah, that's really what I gotta say. That's what I have to say to that. Let me know y'all thoughts, and it's open dialogue. I love stuff like this, but yeah, like that's just really what it's about, though, man. Like, approval. You know what I'm saying? A young man wanting approval from his father. So I said, I love y'all. Peace.